Hey, party people. Welcome to today's live. I don't I don't really have a topic for today, so I guess we'll turn this into an AMA. I do have a couple of things that I want to go over. Um if you're new here, if you're not used to my lives, welcome. Number two, for those of you who have not been keeping up and stalking my every move, I am going to be taking a sabbatical year next year, 2026, and I will not be posting on this channel or my main channel any new content. I will most likely not even be reading the comments. I'm like really taking a break from social media. If you see me on Instagram or Threads or anything, it'll be me posting as kind of a regular person and not as a content creator or anything like that. Uh for the whole of 2026. I have already closed my consultation calendar for my consultation business. I have 3 appointments this week and then that's it. And, uh, the only place you will find me is my Patreon. My Patreon, I have a monthly movie club. I have a fashion movie club. I have a fashion book club where we read a chapter a week of a book together and discuss it in a chat thread. And I occasionally post other random things I think be beneficial or enjoyable to my community. So and there are things at all tiers, at the free membership level, at different tiers. And so if you want to see me at any point next year, that's it. That's where I'll be. I'll be on patreon.com/Zoe Hong. That's it. That's the only place you're going to find me. Um, and what am I going to be doing next year? Number one, uh, I've been joking that I'm just going to nap all of January. I'm only half joking, like, I think I just really just wanna nap all of January until I'm so, like, lethargied out that I have to move. It's gonna be wonderful. In the 10 years I've done YouTube, um, I have not once taken a vacation where I didn't take my laptop and edit videos on the plane or on a train or spend a block of time emailing, DMing for work purposes, customer service email, all of that. So I'm just going to be doing nothing but sleeping and reading book for a fashion book club on Patreon, which is like I'm continuing with Patreon because it's my favorite corner of the internet. It's my community. It's people who are interested in what I'm doing and understand where I'm coming from. And I don't have to fight the algorithm to be heard. Like all my messages get sent to somebody's inbox. Unless they opt out of the inbox, that's up to them. Like on Patreon, it's just a nice like F the algorithm, man. Like, the algorithm sucks, and I'm tired of it. It's one of the things on the laundry list of things that I hate about being a content creator. I don't hate everything about being a content creator, but the algorithm is the the number one thing. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back to content creation, to be dead honest with you. I don't know if I'll ever go back to being on YouTube again. Because I hate it. I hate the algorithm. I hate fighting the algorithm. I hate going through my analytics and trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I I just why am I fighting for my life so that I can try to help a bunch of people so that some weird pervert can ask me for weird foot fetish videos of my foot sewing on a sewing machine pedal? No, thank you. No, thank you, okay? So, if in the future in 2027, if I start making content again, I might just stay on Patreon and only do content on Patreon because, like, the rest of the internet is disgusting. It's disgusting. Um, not everyone is disgusting, obviously, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Um, so that's where I am right now. I can't wait. But here's the thing about me, because I'm so stupid. Okay, listen. So I've been juggling all of these business ideas. I had the denim jacket idea. I had the evening wear for the 40 plus. I had the cool jackets with lightweight fabrics. Like I liked all these ideas, and I am just letting them flow through me. Like I'm not getting invested in any one of them. I'm just playing around with materials and making stuff and all this stuff. Here's my latest idea. I feel the strongest about this idea, but I want to know your thoughts. Okay. I have not worn heels since the year of our Lord 1923. Okay. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but I don't wear heels anymore. Okay. And it's because I have delicate feet. I have delicate feet, and my feet hurt very quickly for some reason. And I just have sensitive feet. And so I don't like wearing heels, and I refuse to do it anymore. I've gotten to the age where, and I've gotten to this age a long time ago, where I cannot do pain for the sake of fashion. No. My favorite type of shoe is a flat form, but dressy flat forms tend to be these blocks with no give. And it's like walking on, like, just like a block of wood, which is not comfortable, and it's slippery. And the parts of my foot are a little bit narrow, and so I'm kinda slipping and sliding in these stupid shoes, and unless there's a strap with a buckle, and often I have these skinny little ankles, and so sometimes, I have to poke an extra hole in the strap for the buckle to fit around my stupid skinny ankles, which I have, like, such a weird body where things are very skinny, but, like, not just like I'm not a skinny person, but I have really skinny parts of my body. Like, I'm a size 12 in a lot of me, but then my thighs are so skinny, like, I actually have a thigh gap, which is real weird. Anyway, so I wanna make dressy, high fashion platforms, not platform heels like the Versace block heel, like, no, minimal foot arching. Like, I could do, like, a gentle slope, but minimal foot arching, dressy platforms. And I wanna figure out a way to make the sole of the shoe more comfortable, you know? Like, I don't see in this giant block that we can't put in some sort of gel insole so that, I mean, the outside, it would still look the same. I don't see why we can't have a more cushiony sole. And I would like maybe a fabric that has a little bit of grip. I don't know. I'm still contemplating that. I'm also contemplating doing a line of socks and leggings and hosiery with like a grippy bottom. Because have you ever tried to wear tights in a dressy shoe and you're just slipping and sliding in them, and then you twist your ankle walking in them? Like, no, no, thank you. No, thank you. Okay. And so if it had more of like a gel that had maybe an absorbent fabric, kind of wicks away sweat, cushions your foot, and maybe holds onto your skin a little bit more. I don't know. Like these are all the things that I'm thinking about in my head, but like the actual upper is more fashionable. It doesn't look like an orthopedic shoe. And nothing against orthopedic shoes. I have a fondness for ugly shoes, and I do have orthopedic shoes that I wear unironically or ironically. I don't know. Anyway, here's the thing. Do I know anything about making shoes? No. Do I know anything about designing shoes? Again, no. Am I gonna learn? Maybe. I was actually Googling shoemaking courses yesterday. I was struck with this idea literally yesterday. Literally. And so I posted on threads, and just people just came out of the woodwork, and they're like, Yes, do it. This is a great idea. I need those shoes. And then people were like, I need these for wide feet. And some people were saying things like, don't forget to make things more than a size 11, like bigger than a size 11. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about right now. Uh yeah. And then after, like, in terms of making stuff for myself, since we're reading the Balenciaga biography in Patreon Fashion Book Club, I'm still enjoying Paolo Piscioli's debut collection for Balenciaga, and how he took so many Balenciaga shapes and made them out of black leather, which is so my aesthetic. It's so my aesthetic. Oh, that because I was looking at all this Balenciaga stuff for Fashion Book Club, and I was trying to like source some photographs to share in the chat thread while we're discussing Balenciaga. There are these dresses, Balenciaga dress shapes that I want to make for myself, but out of black leather. And y'all know, like, I always have like black leather hanging out in my house. So that's what I'm thinking about these days. So let's look at the chat. Oh, whoa, there's so many comments. What the heck? Hey, Gabrielle. Hi, Ellen. Hey, Gallo. Do. Gallo says, I've napped most of this year. Lord have mercy. You know, I keep telling my husband I'm going to nap for all of January. And then when I started on the shoe thing, he just gives me this look like, mm-hmm, so much napping. like he's met me once or twice. Gabrielle says, January is the Monday of the year. Napping is the right decision. Ellen says, best New Year's resolution ever. Napping January? Yeah, like I'm into it. Honestly, it might turn out that I just go into early retirement. I could go into early retirement and just have, because I'm still collecting ad revenue from my main channel, mostly from people just watching old videos, because all my content is evergreen. There's really nothing there. I mean, there are a few, I would say 95% of my content is evergreen. So people just keep watching, how to illustrate alligator skin and how to pick a color story, all those things. So, yeah. And then, of course, my stores will remain open. My books are still for sale at all the regular places. So maybe just keep collecting revenue from those passive income sources and then retire. I could do that and just travel. But then at the same time, I want to go to the Kingpin show in Amsterdam in April, because that's where all the cool denim heads go. And I know the people watching would be sick. Just, I've seen social media of people walking the show and just like the incredibly cool denim outfits they're wearing. And I'm like, I want to go see that. Gallo says, I feel you hard on content creation versus creating with intentional purpose. Oh, and crowded with AI bot comments. I'm a real human. I wish that guy asking for sewing videos was a random AI guy. I just want to be really clear here. There's nothing wrong with a foot fetish. Okay, whatever you want to do, go do it, but with consenting adults. Trying to trick sewing tutorial makers on YouTube and social media into videotaping their feet so you can do God knows what with that content is disgusting. Like trying to loop someone into your kink without their knowledge, without their consent. That's the disgusting part, not the foot fetish part. Okay. You with a consenting adults, you do you. Okay. But this guy, I posted his comment on Threads with the username, and 4 different women told me that that same guy was hitting them up, and one person unfortunately fell for it, and it's just gross. Okay? Don't be like that. All right? Just go meet someone on a dating website and tell them what you're into, or go to OnlyFans and pay for it, cuz those people, sex workers, like they know what they're doing. They know the content that they're offering and what people are gonna do with it. That's consent, okay? When that's different, okay? Not sewing teachers. Gross. Cats and Dogs says, "Are you in prison?" Yes, I'm in a prison of my own making, content creation. Mm. Gallo says, "Yep, heels are a bit of a relic. Paying for fashion is too funny, Zoe, but I do love the heel boots, chunkier heel." I, you know, I have a couple of things where it is a more sloped flat form where it's like my foot does go up to be a little bit of like a low heel setting, but they are not my favorite shoes. But yeah, I'll do like a 1-inch slope, but they're not my most comfortable. And I don't need them the shoes that I have in mind, I don't need them to be the kind where you're traveling through Japan and doing 20,000 steps a day and your feet are still intact at the end of the day. But I'm talking about you should be able to go party for a few hours and not feel like your feet are bleeding stumps. Like, you should be able to go dancing for a few hours and not wanna die, you know? And still look cute with the rest of your outfit. I remember, a couple months ago, there was a woman who was saying, "I need a comfortable pair of dress shoes. I'm going to a cocktail party. Don't tell me to wear Hoka's with my cocktail dress." And the comments and I did peek in the comments because I was also curious as to who's making comfortable dress shoes, and a lot of the comments and I don't know whether it was to empower her to wear whatever she wanted, which I'm sure some of it was, or because women just don't have options. They're like, "Girl, wear the Hokas, who cares?" But it's kind of like, okay, I get that you want to encourage women to wear whatever they wanna wear within the realms of, dress code and, you know, maybe not going to prison for indecent exposure, whatever. But at the same time, she said she didn't wanna wear Hokas. She wanted to wear something dressy that goes with her cocktail dress. And why is that so hard? It's like there are some things where people are so wrapped up in exclusivity. Like fashion runs so much on making things exclusive for other people. And then cheaper brands sweeping in to make that exclusive thing less exclusive. Um, that's the whole fast fashion machine. It's like all these luxury brands, they run their whole system on exclusivity and making things inaccessible. And so you want to be a part of their rarefied world and you can't. And so, you know, brands like Shein and Zara, they tap into okay, what are the runaway stars of whatever last season's trends? What are people trying to tap into that they can't access that we can make cheap knockoff versions of? And that's the whole vicious cycle of fashion that's the carousel we need to get off of. This whole idea of creating exclusivity and then offering, you know, a taste of exclusivity for pennies. Have y'all watched The Good Place, the TV show? It finished up a few years ago. It had Kristen Bell, Manny Jacinto, who, oh God, he's so handsome, and Ted Danson, and it was a really good show. Basically, the premise of the show is these people die and wake up in what they call the good place. And they learn about what it means to be there, how they got there, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And the show is really fantastic. I think they nailed the ending, the character development, just the story arc, the surprises. It was a really good show. But there's this one part. Okay, so they're in the good place, and Ted Danson is kind of like the host, and he's showing Kristen Bell around, and he takes her to the little town, and he's like, "This is the frozen yogurt place. Like people are really into frozen yogurt here." And he was talking about how humid it is to take something incredible and delicious like ice cream and make it just a little bit worse so that they can eat a lot more of it. And that, in essence, is frozen yogurt. And I have thought about that scene for years. I don't remember everything about that show, but that scene has stayed with me to this day. And that is the essence of fast fashion. It's like, "Oh, there are all these things on the runway that I wanna have. So I'm gonna take this cheap, shitty version because I can't save my money and buy one special thing, but I have to buy 20 things and just 20 crappy things so that I have all these crappy things in my life to fill this emptiness." Like, it's so bad. And, here's the thing. People will talk about how, oh, poor people, they can't afford these prices and stuff. And I get that. I grew up poor. I get it. Here's the thing though, is I grew up poor and I grew up in Alaska where you absolutely need winter gear. Okay? In a place like Alaska, even so south as Anchorage, having decent winter gear is not an optional luxury sort of thing, like, you absolutely need it, okay? I grew up in the '80s before global warming just made all the snow dry up. You absolutely needed it, but I did not go without snow gear. I always had gloves and boots and whatnot because my parents didn't buy 20 things every month. I have a friend who does this thing, 12 items a year. He buys 1 thing a month. And he finds a thing that he finds special, and just that's the one thing he's gonna buy that month. And he ends up buying really special things because he doesn't like most of the people that you see shopping fast fashion, they go in and buy 10 things for a few $100s. It's absurd, okay? And so it's really not about, oh, the poor people need fast fashion. It's like you can't it's if you followed me for any length of time, you know that fast fashion can only be fixed by changing the entire global economy and fixing all of the global economy and like supporting the middle class. Okay. So you already know that background about me. But yeah, like, oh, we need fast fashion for poor people is not an excuse that works on any level. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, that frozen yogurt comment. So, yeah, I'm not gonna make $3,000 shoes, but they're definitely not gonna be $40 shoes, just so that you're aware. And you should just buy, like you should just have I imagine that these would be, like, the dress shoes you take traveling, because 'cause you're gonna when you a lot of people, when they travel, they like to book reservations at a nice restaurant and go out for cocktails and not wanna wear their travel sneakers when they're going to these sorts of things. And so they want something comfortable because they might be walking on cobblestones or walking more than usual because they're using public transportation, that sort of thing, as well as just regular life stuff. Yeah. Mom's bedtime story says, "My feet hurt too. I wear heels, but it's torture most times." I would buy those. I absolutely say yes. Thank you. Gabrielle says, "Ooh, only one pair of platforms, but they're sandals. I'd absolutely love more options." Yeah. And I also don't want to do any kind of ballet flats, not the ballet flat shape, but just the kind where it's just cardboard and sidewalk. Cause you need some cushioning between you and the sidewalk for any sort of back support. It doesn't have to be like a full, think, chunky platform, but ballet flats and how thin the soles are not great for a lot of people. So that's not gonna work. And I'm not gonna do pointy toes, because our toes are not shaped like this. Okay. Our toes do not naturally point inward, like your pinky and your big toe. Okay. That's not the natural configuration of most people's feet. And so it hurts. I forget what all those uh different, like, like, if you have to go to a podiatrist because you've been wearing the wrong shoes, they are really the wrong shoes. So I don't wanna make pointy toes either, okay? So, I don't know. I do wanna take a shoe making workshop, so if you know of any, give a shout. My girlfriend last night, she's so funny because I was, like, running it by her, over text, and she sends me these classes, and she's like, "Why don't you spend a month in Italy and take this class?" Like, "Yeah, why don't I just go live in Italy for a month while I take this shoe class?" And she's like, "Ooh, there's this other one in Spain. You wanna live in Spain for a month?" I'm like, "Of course I do. That's not that's not the question. Can I start with, like, a weekend course in LA, please? Thank you." But here's the thing about that I don't like about December. December is not really a month for most people. It is like an end of the year wrap up for a lot of people. People are trying to like get out of work to start the holidays. They don't want to start any projects. They don't want to post any calendars of the upcoming. You can't do any planning in December because everyone's just too busy cleaning up the old year. And so I'm like, everyone just still has their 2025 class dates up, and they're just trying to do the bare amount of work to get to the end of the year, and I sympathize with that. I'm kinda there right now because I wanted to start my sabbatical right now. But, yeah, so planning, I just might start sketching on my own, but yeah. Gallo says, "I'm really loving my running Nikes with a pillowy feeling sole, wider bottom, so good." Ellen says, "As long as those shoes come in size 10 narrow, I'm good." Jillian says, even designer shoes should be walkable. I'm not saying they need to be a walking shoe, but some of them are so terrible, even sitting in them doesn't feel right. Yeah. I have tried on shoes before where, like, I'll be in the store and the sales associate has helped me put them on, and I haven't even gotten up yet. And I'm like, what is this? No, no, thank you. No, thank you. That is a younger masochist game, not me. Mom's bedtime story says there would be a market for that. I do think so too. I do think so too. Because there's not enough real like, and this kind of goes back to the whole evening wear for the 40 plus. I don't think that there's, not to say young people don't care about comfort. I think it's more of a priority for older people. Um, but yeah, like offering high fashion, luxury, just fashionable things for older women, I think is a trend that has started and should be branching out in. There's a woman. So I listened to this makeup podcast, beauty podcast called Gloss Angeles, like lip gloss, Gloss Angeles, which I think is a very cute name. And they were interviewing this woman, and she has worked in beauty product development for a long time. She worked at Prescriptives. Shout out to the people who remember Prescriptives foundation and all the different color ranges that they had. Um, and she worked at Prescriptives. She developed product for Victoria Beckham, Tom Ford, Prada Beauty, like all these major brands she developed product for, and now she's launching into her own thing, and it is a product line specifically for older women. And she was talking about how she was fighting with investors because she had said that she wanted to make sure that there was no product that was photographed on anyone younger than, I think, 40, because she wanted to be clear that these products were made for a particular age set. And of course, anybody can buy the products, but she made them, she worked on these formulas specifically for this age set, addressing this age set's concerns. And so she wanted the products modeled on the aged demographic of the women she was targeting. And she was getting a lot of pushback on that. And I was like, yeah, that's a lot of BS. Good for her. Good for her. So I'm into that. I'm into that. Gallo says, ooh, shoe design is a whole other Oprah on a network she hasn't even bought yet. I know. I know. Like I know the general fashion industry, and I don't know much about shoe design in the shoe industry at all. I used to kind of like keep up with footwear news back when I had more time for that sort of thing. The only accessories I've ever designed were evening bags, and they were just kind of like a side project a long time ago at a women's wear company. And so I've never done shoes. The closest thing I've done is just wear and try on and buy a lot of them, but that's stupid because I have never thought that just because you're good at wearing something doesn't mean you know how to design it. That's why I actually wanna take a course. Like, there's, like, a shoe sketching course, which I don't think I need because 'cause I'm good at sketching, but, like, design, product development, materials specific to shoes, that sort of thing, the vocabulary needed to talk to people about making shoes. It's not like I'm gonna turn into a cobbler and start making my own shoes for production, but like I tell everyone, you have to understand the construction yourself in order to speak intelligently with your product crew about what kind of product you're hoping to receive and to talk through the development process, with your team using the words that they understand and that sort of thing. And so I am looking into a shoe course, but yeah. Jillian says, Why is it that so many designer shoes are heavy AF and the lighter ones are 100x more comfortable?" I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that completely. Mom's bedtime story. I was so excited for outerwear, but this is genius. I know. And you know what? Here's the thing is I may change my mind next month. We don't know yet because and okay, I know this about myself. I come up with good ideas all the time because I track the business, I follow the business, I read news, I talk to a lot of people, both in and out of the industry, people who are like longtime professionals, and also just people who are just vaguely interested. I talk to a lot of different people about fashion, and I have like tons of students, and so I have ideas all the day is long. I've had students tell me, Zoe, you cannot just be going around telling people all your ideas because then people will steal them. And I'm like, ideas are worth nothing. They're worth nothing. They're like armchair quarterbacking. They're literally nothing until you can make something of it. And the vast majority of people never put in the effort to make the thing happen. So just sharing my ideas and spreading them across the universe doesn't actually mean anything. I want people to steal all my ideas. Like go ahead and make uh that line of adult clothes that is designed like children's wear, where it focuses on soft textures, no itchy stitches or labels, and, where it focuses on fun colors, fun shapes, and not sexiness. And like, I want that line to happen. If you want to create a line of outerwear that's all lightweight, go ahead. Go ahead. Um, Everyone's doing aprons now. I keep getting DMs where people are like, "Everyone's doing aprons, Zoe." I'm like, "Yeah, go do them. Go make them." Like, I just sprinkle ideas out in the universe and just whatever. I can't make all these ideas happen, so I don't know. Um, but I am feeling kind of proprietary towards the shoes. I think I am gonna do the shoes. I don't know. Like, the other day I was promoting my Croquis sketchbook. I'm doing a holiday sale on my Croquis sketchbooks, 50% off with the code Zoe Hong, ZOE, the number 5, the number 0. So you can go buy my sketchbooks for 50% off right now with the discount code. And I was looking for some promo images of the sketchbook, and I found one where it was a woman in high waisted slacks with huge necklaces that was covering her torso, and she didn't have a shirt on. And I sketched this in 2023. I remember because the photograph of the sketch is from an event that I did with that I went to for Patreon in 2023. And I sent it to my girlfriend. I was like, haha, see, I've been obsessed with this look forever. And I think she thought I meant like I could design Givenchy, like Sarah Burton. I'm like, no, it's just I really like that look and I like that collection because I was really feeling that vibe already. Not to say that I could take her job. I don't know. Whatever. People get really weird about designers talking about ideas, designers taking ideas, designers copying something that could be vaguely somebody else's idea. It's like whatever. It's like ideas I got. Okay? Time and money to execute all the ideas, that I don't have. Okay? So, do. Mom's bedtime story, truly evergreen. I completely agree. Gallo says, I vote for early retirement and then go create for you. No algo, no keyboard weirdos. Yes, early retirement for us. Yeah, I might just I could do early retirement and just literally shut everything down that requires any of my energy and just make stuff and travel and read. I don't know. There's still things I wanna do with my life, though, that are career oriented. There are things that are still goals I want to achieve that I have not figured out how to do, and it all kinda stems on things that require me to work with other people, but I don't know how to work with those other whatever, I don't wanna talk about that right now. Hi, Violet Femme, welcome. Gaming with Z-Dog says, "Do you know anyone named McCall Howard?" No. Jillian, forget retirement. I want to disappear. Listen, if I were to retire, I would do it Enya style. Okay. I've said this so many times that most of you are probably sick of me talking about it. But if I'm retiring, I'm doing it Enya style. And by that, I mean, she had those hits, she did those records, and then she bought a castle. Have we heard from Enya since? Absolutely not. Does she still make a ton of money on residuals and people like using her music in current projects like movies and TV shows? Yes. It funds her lifestyle. She lives with her cats. I don't know what she does in her castle all day, and it is none of my business. But she stays unproblematic in her castle. Do we know her views on trans rights, gay rights, like immigration? No, we don't know none of that stuff because she just be staying in her castle, keeping her mouth shut. And that's the way famous people should be, JK Rowling. Cough, cough. Go away. Go live in a castle by yourself and enjoy your money, okay? We don't care about your views on much of anything, okay? You can't even do the bare minimum research to name your one Korean character a real existing Korean name. So I don't even want to hear your shit about anything. Everyone's like, "Oh, you can't separate the art. You can separate the art from the artist." Well, what if JK Rowling's art wasn't very good? Okay? How about that? There are so many things wrong with the Harry Potter series, and I read the books. I read the books, and I enjoyed them, but at the same time, I was like, "What's this?" Like, I used to work for this woman who was really into the books. She didn't watch any of the movies. She was really into the books, and so we would read the books kind of like at the same time, and we would discuss them like during lunch and stuff. And yeah, we picked them apart. Like, what's wrong with this section and what's going on here? Like, we were critical, complimentary, and critical. We read the whole series, and yeah, I can't separate the art from the artist, and they both suck. So, whatever. Okay, rich people should just like make their money and then go away forever so we don't have to see their stupid faces and learn their dumb views about anything ever. Just go away. Unless you're Rob Reiner and you're fighting for gay rights. Rest in peace. Okay. Gabrielle says, since you have no specific topic for today, did you see about the Alaya Dior exhibition? Loic somebody has a backstage video on his YouTube channel. It's amazing to see how many Mr. Alaya collected. I did hear about it. I wrote about it on both my Patreon and my Substack. And basically, the story goes Mr. Alaya, the original Azadine Alaya, he had a 4-day internship at Dior and was so gobsmacked impressed that he started collecting Dior's. And so the exhibit is really about Mr. Alaya's personal collection of Dior's. And I just got my first invitation to an Haute Couture show for January. So Stefan Roland invited me back, and if Sarah Schraby is showing, I'm fairly certain I can get an invitation because she and I are mutuals on Instagram. She's a lovely person with an enormous talent, and I hope she makes beautiful things forever. And I am in touch with the Rahul Mishra team. Like, if I wanted to go to Paris, I could. If I was in the mood to make bread, I have started baking sourdough again. I took a little break. I'm back to baking sourdough. Uh, but yeah, that exhibit is happening. But if I were to go to Paris, strictly dickly because of the museum shows. Okay. I even made a spreadsheet because y'all know how much I love a spreadsheet. So let me tell you when I would go. Because I want to go to Amsterdam April 15, 16 for the Kingpins show. And where's my, there we go. And so I was thinking about, I mean, this would be a really good time to go because at the V&A, okay, the V&A, so there is a Schiaparelli retrospective at the V&A in London that starts March 28th of 2026, okay? And the Dior Alaya collab show ends May 3rd. Well, part of it ends May 3rd and the other part ends May 24th. But for the sake of our conversation, ends May 3rd. So April is the perfect time to be in Europe for me. So I could go to Amsterdam and go to Kingpins in mid-April, take Eurostar to Paris because yeah, Eurostar is the best, and go to the Palais Galleria. Oh, you know what? There's also a show happening at where is it? Where is it? The Musée d'Art Décoratif, Museum of Decorative Arts. And there's always interesting shows happening over there. So I would check that out. I don't have the exact dates. And then they are also doing where's the they are doing the Crafts of Paris at Palais Galliera. The last day is in October. Yeah, there's so many shows happening. But if I were to go to Europe, I would go in April. It's a better time of year to go anyway. And I would hit the Schiaparelli show at the V&A and hit a bunch of museums, go to the Dior Alaya, go to the Palais Gallery. Listen, if you love fashion and you're ever in Paris, always check what exhibit is happening at the Palais Galliera. That's the best museum for fashion exhibits, hands down. I saw Stephen Jones. I saw Rick Owens. Like, great museum. Another one is the Museum of Decorative Arts because it's decorative arts. Hello. So go check those out. And then go to Kingpins in mid-April. That's what I would do if I were to go to Europe next year. There's also a Vivienne Westwood Rei Kawakubo show featuring both designers at a museum in Melbourne, Australia that ends April 19th. I've never been to Australia, but if I were ever go to Australia, that would be the time to go. Do, do, do. Mm. Mhm. Okay, I love how you guys are chatting with each other in the chat about things I don't even understand, but I love it. Go keep doing that. Frozen yogurt. If you're in LA, or I think they're all over California. I don't know how far they go. Yogurtland is doing a December special where they're not weighing your cups. That's a rumor I heard. So double check your local Yogurtland. But if you're into frozen yogurt, okay. Mr. Whale 77, who are you and where do you come from? Gallo, yep, too much easy profit for the fast junk. Uh, no, we're not talking about Christianity today or any day. Ellen, the exclusivity problem also extends to cosmetics and skincare. Yeah, the beauty industry is its own. Like, I use a lot of Korean products, to be honest, and kinda always have, like, not to say I don't use American cosmetics, but I use a lot of Korean products, and there's so much stuff that's available that's really good, that's not even, like, that super expensive. So, there are a lot of things, like, people talk about Drunk Elephant all the time, and I'm like, there are just some prices that I cannot justify, and I know there are super expensive Korean things too. I am aware, okay? Uh I am the generation that grew up with those moms that had those 8-piece sets. That's where that whole thing comes from, where my Como, she had, like, a Laneige 12-piece set, and she would sit there on the floor on a heating mat. This is so Korean ajumma coded. Whoever's a Korean ajumma who's watching this, you understand this, okay? So, in her very large bedroom, she had a gorgeous king size bed with, like, all the beautiful bedding, whatever, okay? But her way to relax in the evenings, okay, she would take her shower, and then she had a beautiful floral electric heated mat that was on the floor in front of her TV in the corner. And she would sit watching her Korean drama and be doing all these steps of skincare, okay, with her beautiful Amore Pacific set. It's like hundreds of dollars. And listen, my Como, especially during this time period, she had a lot of money. She used to live in Hancock Park, if you know what that means. If you know, you know. Okay, she lived in a big ass house next door to Antonio Banderas in Hancock Park, and she had this big, beautiful house. And she, except, she is a wartime Korean. Okay, she was born in the 40s. And she went to college in Korea during a time where very few women were going to college. Like, she still kind of has that mentality. And so she would be using this Amore Pacific skincare set with hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But she would take a cotton ball, okay, regular cotton ball from Costco, bought in bulk, of course, and ripped 3 ways. Okay. She would never use a whole cotton ball because number one, it would absorb too much product. And number two, you don't really need the whole thing. And she would have this little tiny bud of cotton that she would take with one finger to meticulously rub toner all over her face. So what happens when you grow up poor. You just never get rid of that. So she's in this multi-million dollar house in this gorgeous bedroom suite, sitting on the floor with her expensive skincare, eating rice cakes before to bed. Anyways, I don't know why that, like, cracked me up, but Jillian says, "Flats can be criminally uncomfortable. All the worst cuts on my heels are from flats." Okay. Okay. I don't Some people ask random questions. Jillian, yeah, the pointed flat are too often not wide enough. It's terrible. Yeah, and if they're wide enough, then the points are too long and the proportion looks off. I don't like that. Okay. Almond Violet Vam says, "I like a tapered almond shoe shape, elegant but still comfortable." Yeah, there's gotta be, and let me tell you, I love the look of a pointed toe, but there are lots of people out there who are just making a lot of pointed toes. I don't need to be doing that. Okay? I think as designers, we need to understand that once we've established our brand and our customer, just because we like something doesn't mean we have to do it. Okay, there are a lot of things about different kinds of shoes that I like, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to incorporate them in my own line. Like, I see a woman pull off a pointed toe, I'm like, "You look elegant, great." Am I wearing them? Never. My toes? No, thank you. And my feet aren't even that wide, and I still don't like it. So, yeah. Doo doo doo. Ellen, cleaning up the old year makes sense. I am Rose says, I love a Birkenstock type toe box, plenty of room for your toes to move around. I wore pointy toes the other day and got the worst blister ever. That's what I'm saying. I saw this video and it is so perfect because, um, my TikTok algorithm is so funny because it knows I love food content, all kinds of food content, whether it's making your own food or going out to eat. I love food content and I love fashion content, right? And so this one video, this person was interviewing chefs at a restaurant, what kind of shoes they like to wear on shift when, they're on their feet for 12, 16-hour days. And the overwhelming winner were the closed toe Birkenstocks, not the sandal type, but the ones that are like completely closed. They're backless, but the model goes so far up the foot that it's not like you're flopping around too much. So I might just buy a pair of those and walk around and just kind of test how comfortable they are, just as like an exercise. Because I have an old pair of Birkenstock sandals somewhere, but they're in storage. I had these flats once that were vintage and were so amazingly comfortable, it was wild. See, we used to make nice things. Ellen, love Prescriptus, my holy grail, right? Right? They had the best foundations because they literally had, I think, 120 colors because they had like 40 colors within each section. And there were 4 undertones. Okay, there were 4 sections with different undertones. They had olive undertone section, they had a yellow, like golden undertone section, and they had a cool tones undersection. I think it was labeled pink or red for like the color of your undertone. And then there was a yellow orange undertone section. And so each of these sections had like 30, 40 colors. And so, man, if you couldn't find a prescriptive color, maybe you were ill and you were not an actual skin color. Like there was so many colors. Oh, Violet Fent, love Los Angeles. I also enjoyed that episode with Sarah Creel. Yes, that's the one. Violet Femme, you and I watch so much of the same content. One of these days we gotta share notes. Because I know you also binge the financial diet, like I do. Jillian says I have one pair of comfortable flats that are contemporary, but they're a little bit big overall. Nothing compares to those vintage ones I used to have. They didn't look wide in the toe box either. Okay. I am Rose says, just because you're good at wearing something doesn't mean you can design it. You better drag celebrity brands. I totally agree. Yeah, the other day, who was I talking? Oh, it was my Patreon group where I was dragging Ivanka Trump's fashion line. And I was like, it's not even about the fact that she's a Trump, which it also factors, but really like anybody who doesn't actually have a background in fashion and has not learned anything about fashion thinks that they could put their name on something and just sell it. They don't know. And then her company went out of business because she doesn't know how to make clothes. She doesn't know how to design clothes. It's just like any other celebrity who thinks it's so easy. But it's not. It's not. And any brand, small or big, you talk to them and you talk to them about pleasing customers and how to get things to fit right and making good product and that suits their customer, and everyone will tell you that it is a constant battle, a constant, like there's no one formula where one season you nail it and then you apply the same exact formula next season and it works. Okay, for Patreon Movie Club, we did the Dries Van Noten documentary, and I was talking about how I loved how Dries Van Noten, the designer, was talking about they were showing clips of his older shows. He was like, "Yeah, that one didn't sell very well. Our customers didn't like that so much, and this is probably why." And it was very thoughtful, and he is like the most commercially successful out of the Antwerp 6, but it's also because he thinks like that. He thinks about like, "We tried this, it didn't work. This is not what the customers wanted. The press did not receive it well." Like he's very thoughtful about his own work, not in a mean self-deprecating way, but just in a cool like, okay, That didn't work for us. I get people who want the shortcut. Like they message me all the time, like, what is the way to figure out what customers want? I'm like, boy, if I knew that, get out of here. Get out of here. It is not 2 plus 2 equals 4. I'll tell you that. Okay. It is not 2 plus 2 equals 4. Get out of here. I hate people, that's another thing I'm sick of. When people want like the easy formula, okay, they want to know what is the formula for making the right product for your customer and what are the exact only necessary things that I need to learn to start building a business right away. And can you make me a list of everything I need to learn and what I don't have to learn? And like those kinds of emails just piss me off. Like, there's definitely a thing where you don't wanna be learning a bunch of stuff you didn't really need, but these people who are constantly asking for the shortest route, I'm like, "Get out of here. Get out of here." That's a conversation, first of all. It's like, if you really wanna know, like, what are the classes you need to take for these few specific goals, that's a conversation about a lot more than just like, "Hey, I'm some dude from the internet who wants some free answers." I've had people contact me, like I've had younger students who are like, I'm looking into fashion schools and I'm trying to choose between these two schools. These are my goals. And so for my goals, what do you think is a better option? And that was kind of a more thoughtful thing because he was very like, I want to go learn these things and I want for them this purpose, like where do you think is the best place to go learn, which is a completely different and better conversation. And I gave them my honest feedback, my honest opinion on the schools that he sent me, based on what he wanted to do with his career. Is that going to change in the future? Always. Your desires for the direction of your career will change. It will undoubtedly change at some point. Chilean, I don't even give my opinion anymore because of that. I've already shared more than I like to here today. um, wait, I missed something. Jillian, need a lot of hand strength, something I wanna do to know how to and build that strength like complex upholstering. Gallo, truth. I have notebooks of ideas, fiction until executed. Yeah, it's like for creative people like me and Gallo, like it's kind of like you know how much work goes into it. And so you don't want to start work until it's like you feel like it's the right one. But it's fun to think about a lot of ideas. I am Rose says children's clothes are so much cooler than adult clothes. There's so many things I want in my size. All the time. All the time. Back before the boycott, back when we were still shopping at Target, y'all better not be shopping at Target. But back when we shopped at Target, I didn't really buy clothes at Target, but I went to Target to buy like mascara and toothpaste. And so you would like walk past the clothing section and invariably there would be something in the kids section where I'd be like, oh, that's cute. Did I think that about the girls' clothes? The women's clothes? No. No. Just no. But I see, oh my god. You know who makes cute kids clothes? Gucci. Have you been to the, Gucci children's wear boutique in New York? It's the best boutique. I'm like, I want all this stuff in my size. Granted, I haven't been there in years, but I was like, this stuff is like, when they say youth is wasted on the young, I'm talking about children's clothes. Like, these clothes are wasted on y'all. You do not even appreciate. You're gonna spill spaghetti sauce on them. Get out of here. Make them in my size. Make them in my size. I am Rose. I'm a Sarah Burton stan all day, every day. Exactly. Jillian, yeah, paranoia about comment interpretation and competition. You know, people say I'm long-winded. Yeah, because y'all like misunderstand me, whether it's on purpose or not, all the time. And so I've taught myself or I've trained myself to be long-winded to explain all this stuff because I don't want to be misinterpreted. And I don't like this long-winded person I've become. And which is why, the people that I spend the most time with, I don't have a lot of new friends. Like, I'm always happy to make new friends, but let me tell you, like, my favorite people, I mean, I've known my husband since 2004, one of my closest friends since 2003. One of my favorite people in the whole world is my fashion school bestie that I met in 1999. Like, they know the history of me, and I don't need to explain every single bit of what I said, you know? Mm. Fashion architect, would you take a creative director job in a fashion house if it was offered to you, but a slow fashion house? I would. If it was an interesting house, and of course, I would, like, interview all the details and particulars, but yeah, that could be something. That could be something. I would also love to do a collaboration with with a brand that was sustainably minded in some way. I often say that there's no such thing as a perfectly sustainable company, and that I just wanna see people who are starting to make efforts, but also making more efforts every season. Because it's so hard to you can't do it, like, all the things at once, like perfect materials and perfect quantities and perfect, manufacture there's no such thing, but, like, I wanna see a brand where it's like, "Okay, this season we did this, and this season we're gonna do it a little better, and this season we're gonna work on our quantities better so we have less waste. This season we're gonna be doing this." Like, that to me is far more admirable. So if it was a brand like that, and they needed a kind of creative consultant, or if they wanted to do a collab or something, I would be really into that. That would be cool. I am Rose says, "And you had the right idea. A lot of people don't know when to stop." Yes. Okay. Gallo says, "She's saying to us what she would do. Sail away, sail away." Ugh, that's t today's top comment. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Mm. Uh, yeah, better to burn out than fade away as a fading celeb. I don't know. I would just there are a lot of people who, when they do that thing at the Oscars, where they do that, in memoriam scroll of names of people who died, and there's invariably gonna be a bunch of people that you've never heard of or you haven't thought about in a long time. Because they weren't in the press for being toxic or horrible, throwing cell phones at their assistants or marching on the right side on the wrong side, you know what I mean? So maybe, yeah, maybe it's better for people to maybe not remember you rather than know that you're a horrible POS. Speaking of, anytime people talk about POS systems, like point of sale systems, in a business setting, I always think piece of shit, always. Like, I cannot not think of it. Mom's bedtime story. I am so happy to hear someone else saying exactly this about JK Rowling. I'm saying, you know, you know. Gabrielle, shout out to Stefan Roland. That when I went to his show in July, and that's the one where Cardi B was sitting behind me, and I was making these jokes that she was stalking me because she and I were both also at Rahul Mishra. And why did that get so much attention on the internet? It was just like a funny, stupid thing, but yeah. Gabrielle, where do you hear about all these shows? Well, industry contacts. The Stefan Roland show came out of nowhere. That invitation came out of nowhere. Um, that was wild. I think, there are only so many PR houses. And so I think that if you get on the PR list for one designer and they kind of like you, they invite you to other shows that they also rep for. So I think maybe they're the same PR as another designer that I had visited. Sarah Schraby, I know because she follows me on YouTube. Okay. This is my favorite brush with fame story. She so Sarah Schraby, I saw her one of her earlier haute couture shows, just randomly doing a runway review, and I just thought it was so beautiful that I included her a segment in a runway review video years ago. I'm like, "Oh, look at this person, like, I've never seen their work before, I've never heard of them, but it's so beautiful." And I start following them on Instagram. Fast forward a little bit, and they follow me back on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, hey, a haute couture brand following me on Instagram, that's crazy." And eventually, I get to a point where I'm going to try to attend couture houses. This was January of this year. So like in 2024, end of 2024, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to go to attend some fashion shows for the first time. So let's go to Paris and let's see if I can attend a couture show. And so I knew that Sarah Traby was showing and I knew that we were mutuals on Instagram. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, do you think I can come to your show? And she was like, of course. And she puts me in contact with her PR team and everything. And I attend and it's beautiful. And I see her afterwards and I walk up to her to congratulate her on a beautiful show and all that stuff. And she tells me that she's been watching my YouTube channel for drawing tutorials. And that's how she knows about me because she studied to be an architect in college. But when she wanted to work in fashion, like, she had already learned a lot about design principles and things like that, but she didn't know how to draw people and clothes on people. So she looked on the internet and she found my tutorials and she started following me on YouTube. And then that's why we became Instagram mutuals. And she's like, you're my drawing teacher. And that was just crazy. That was just nuts. So yeah, so we chat like not often at all, but every once in a while, she'll have like something really cool happen in her media. So, I'll respond to her stories and she'll say thank you. And she's like, do you ever want to visit Morocco? And I'm like, it is on my travel wish list, but like not immediately. And she's like, come to Morocco. Let me show you around. Cause that's where her studio is based. And so, yeah, so it's obnoxious to say, "Oh, I know she's gonna send me an invite," but chances are good that if I asked and she's showing, that I would get an invitation to the show. So, yeah, um, also have a YouTube follower who used to intern at Victor and Rolf, and she did try to get me a ticket, but it didn't work, but that's fine. Um, I was flattered that she even offered to ask for me, so, you know, that sort of thing. Do, do, do. Mom's bedtime story. Can you recommend a good Korean product for us? Oh, I mean, well, that kinda depends on what you're looking for. Um, there's a lot of things, I mean, there's so many product categories. Would like to know your favorite Korean beauty brands. Beauty brands in general, I mean, for makeup remover, my favorite is the Vanilla Zero Balm. It will really take off everything, and it feels really nice, and if it doesn't, irritate my eyes at all when I'm removing eye makeup. And sometimes I wear a lot of eye makeup. Not today, it's a little bit, but, like, sometimes I wear a lot of eye makeup, and that will take it all off. COSRX is a pretty good brand, and, what's that one I'm not a beauty content creator. I don't keep track of all of there's a moisturizer from you know who I like to buy from? Soko Glam. I will say that. Soko, like South Korea. So SOKOGLAM. Soko Glam is the website. And everything's in English. And there's lots of reviews from people who have bought the product. And so you can read the reviews, and they have search filters for the reviews. Like you can just read what people with combination skin think about a product. It's a really good website. I've been ordering from them for years before I lived in LA because it's hard to find Korean products in Oakland. Now that I live here now, I can just go to Palace Beauty or whatever to buy stuff. But yeah, for a long time, I used to buy my Korean skincare from sokoglam.com. Um, I also like, what is that? Sun and Park Beauty Water as like a midday refresher. Like if I have to put makeup on at like 2 p.m. because I'm shooting a video and I don't want to do a whole face washing, I'll just do a whoosh with that and it gets like kind of all this gunk off my face and it kind of sets my face clean and then I put a little bit of moisturizer on top and then I start putting my makeup on. So, yeah. Um Gallo Antonio was next door. Girl, did you come to that sleepover I had randomly? That one time my aunt was out of town and she said I could have people over because I was living in her basement at the time. Or not her basement, her attic. Because I know Yana came over. Do you remember Yana? Yana came over. Let me tell you about that night. Okay. That was so freaking funny to me because Yana came over. She smoked like a chimney. And she woke up really early and she wanted to have a cigarette. Okay. And she knew I didn't let anybody smoke in the house, but she really wanted a cigarette. She couldn't find a lighter. So she goes to the kitchen so she could maybe like light the cigarette and then like run out the kitchen door to smoke outside. Except my aunt, which at the time was kind of rare, had one of those glass top stoves. And so she turns the stove on to light her cigarette and it's just the glass top. She was so mad. Anyway, yeah. So Antonio Banderas actually eventually ended up buying my aunt's house and bulldozing the house down and using the land to build gardens and stuff. And there's this whole like Hollywood romantic gestures thing where they're like Antonio Banderas like bought the property next door to build these beautiful gardens for his wife, blah blah blah. You know what the real story is? And we know this because he tried many times to buy the house and my aunt rejected him a lot before he ended up buying the house from her through a proxy. She didn't even know she was selling to him. Anyway, he wanted her driveway because I know exactly what intersection his house is at. I'm not gonna dox him or anything, but his driveway fed into a major street with a lot of traffic right at a curve. And it was kinda dangerous, and it was hard for limos to come out. If you were driving a Honda Civic, you just pop out of that thing, but for limos, it was hard. Poor baby. So what he wanted was my aunt's driveway because he was the corner lot, and my aunt, her driveway went into a very quiet, wide street with no curves, easier for limos. And so what he wanted and then the driveway went and ended at his property line. Well, it ended there was the tennis court and then there was his property line, whatever. And he wanted to tear down the tennis court and just, like, connect the driveways so he could use the smaller side street. That's why he wanted to buy my aunt's multi-million dollar property so he could have the better driveway. Like, rich people really don't know what to do with their money. I mean, let me help them, okay? But honestly, like he didn't make those gardens as a romantic gesture, okay? He wanted the driveway. I am Rose says, yes, try the Birks. I love them. I've been wearing Birks of all types for 20 plus years. Yeah, I think I am gonna try the ones that the chefs were wearing, the closed toe ones. Ellen says, I was golden prescriptives and now I'm told I am neutral. Yeah. I mean, my skin tone changed more cool tone over the years too. Kate Wooden says, good day from Australia. Good day. Pro or anti bring back bullying? I want to bully people who write me stupid comments. How's that? Kate Wooden says, I'm a bridal seamstress who only does alterations. Is it taught to design things to be altered? Who only does alter? Is it taught to design things to be altered? Oh, I understand. Okay. So, do we learn in design school how to design things to be altered? No, we do not. So, I'm good friends with Bridal Sewing on YouTube. She and I like DM each other on Instagram all the time. and we've had this conversation before. She has been working in bridal alterations here in the US for a long time, and her channel is focused on teaching bridal alterations techniques and just like working with really nice evening wear fabrics, bridal fabrics, that sort of thing, all kinds of alterations. And we've talked about this, and she's told me things like, you can tell, and it's not about being an experienced designer, it's about being an experienced bridal designer because those product development teams, they know how to do the sewing operations in such a way that makes it easier for alterations experts like yourself, like bridal sewing, to take the garment apart and fit things and then put them back together. Because there are ways that, and sometimes it can be the cheaper way to do things. Sometimes it can just be the only way somebody knows how to do something. But there are ways that something can be constructed that really makes it hard to take apart. And I know some people who wanna do this just so you can't take it apart and alter it because they're so obsessed with the purity of their design. But it's like, of all the things that people could possibly get tailored in their lifetime, bridal gowns are number 1. You're not gonna like, most people do not spend that kind of money on clothes for themselves, period. So the one time they splurge on a dress, they're gonna make dang sure it fits right. And so, if you wanna get into the bridal industry, you should really learn how sewing order of operations can really help your alterations and your brides, all that stuff. But that is really not something that is taught in fashion schools, design programs and stuff. Gallo says, Gucci kids have a junior XL size. I can totally swing that. Yeah, y'all don't know. Gallo's real small, pint size. Um, Mom's bedtime story. I enjoy your explanations. You make so much common sense. Thank you. Ellen says, I remember a lot of clothes I wore as a child and have thought about reproducing them for my adult self. Some were bought, my mother made others. Yeah, see, kids' clothes are the best. Kids' clothes are the best. Gallo, yes, I will never forget Yana trying to light a cigarette on the electric stove. That was so, like, it is really one of my key college random memories. I will never forget. She was so mad. She was so mad. Uh, Gallo says, I died laughing at her. You're so uh, uh, okay. Antonio Banderas should fund your shoe business with 0% interest. Yeah, he should. Do you know how many times he kept us awake by having loud TV nights, like with his outdoor TV room back in the day? Oh my God. Okay, listen. I'm going to end on this story because it is my favorite Antonio Banderas story. Okay. Shortly after he moved in, okay, and shortly after we learned that it was him, uh, we were like, I was 18 and my cousin was, how old was he? 10. He was 10. And then my other cousin was in her early 20s. And I was living with my aunt and my cousins. And the three of us had watched a scary movie. I think it was The Sixth Sense. And we were watching it in the kitchen and the movie was over. So we sent the baby cousin to bed. And his bedroom was closest to Antonio's property. A few minutes later, he comes back out into the kitchen and he's like, I can't sleep. And little kids, they want to get out of bedtime. So we're like, what's going on? And he said, uh, our new next door neighbor is too loud. And we're like, what? And so we go into his bedroom, and sure enough, it is really noisy. Like he is playing some TV in some outdoor TV room, and it is really noisy. So we go out. And the fence dividing our 2 properties, it was kind of like a low stone fence with a ton of trees, and so you couldn't really see anything unless you, like, really put your face in between the trees to look, and most of the time, we're not doing that kinda thing. Um, and so but we wanted to know what the noise was all about, and so we go to the property fence, and we, like, stick our eyes and try to and he's watching TV out like in this he's got speakers and everything, and we're watching, and we're trying to be and we're giggling because we know we're doing something naughty, but whatever. And like we're giggling, but we're trying to be really quiet so he can't hear us, which is ridiculous because the TV was so loud. We're giggling, and when you're trying to be really quiet, it's so hard to be really quiet. And one of the three of us, from holding in our laughter, farts really loud. Cut to the three of us denying profusely, whispering quietly, like, "No, it wasn't me. It was you. It was you. It was not me. It was not," pointing fingers until finally, I think like Antonio like looks up and he's like, "What's that noise?" And so we are like, "Oh no!" And we like run back into the house. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the first time we saw Antonio. Uh, yeah, fam had no idea Zoe has beef with Antonio, but not beef, but like he used to write us postcards, okay? He didn't talk to us like a normal freaking neighbor. And I understand that maybe like a famous rich person would not want to like just randomly talk to people on the street. I get that. But we are your neighbor. Our property is probably close in property value as yours. You do not get to be so uppity about it. Like, whatever, right? And you're the one who wants to buy our property. So, whatever, dude, whatever. But he used to write us these postcards and drop them in the mail instead of talking to us face to face. Like, and he would sign them, "Your concerned neighbor, AB." I'm like, "Get out of here." Like, so obnoxious. One time he sent a postcard uh, where it said, like, "I noticed that you have not received the new West Tech security signs. And I recommend you look into getting the updated one so everyone knows that your security is up to date. Your concerned neighbor, AB." Listen, I watched this video where this woman who had just gotten out of a long prison sentence for armed robbery, burglary, whatever, and she was telling regular people how to avoid getting your house broken into. And she says those security system signs on your front lawn are like catnip for burglars because when you have a security sign on your lawn, it says, "I have something worth stealing in my house." And I was like, "Oh, dang." And she's like, "Those beware of dog signs, we don't care." Like, she was, like, going through this laundry list. It's like, yeah. So, this is my funny thing about my aunt, okay? So, she really didn't like him, like, his offers for her house because of the freaking driveway. She's like, what's he gonna do to my house? I love my house." And the whole stupid postcards thing. And so she used to call him Antonio Banderas. And what you need to know about Korean is the word for fart in Korean is pangu. And so she used to say his name, Antonio Banderas, like on purpose. So that it kind of sounded like Farteris. And yeah, so I literally cannot say his name. Not that I say it often much anymore, just when I tell these dumb stories without calling him Antonio Banderas. Uh, I'll get us into this letter. Whatever. This is why this live stream is on the small channel. Okay. It has a smaller audience. I would just like to let people know that my aunt was rich, not me. I was driving a 20-year-old Mitsubishi Eclipse at the time and uh, living for free in her attic. So, anyway, but she was nice enough to let me live there. It was really a big attic. Like Gala will tell you, it was a really huge attic. With like the smallest bathroom ever. Like I showered like this, okay? Because the bathroom was so, so, so small, and the attic was, like, huge. I mean, it was fully carpeted and everything, but yeah, it was nuts. Anyway, those are my, Antonio Banderas stories. And now I've been talking for way too long. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for all of your encouragement about the shoes. I think I am gonna go pick up a pair of those Birkenstocks and just kind of like walk around in them for some research. Gallo says beautiful property. Yes, definitely an Otis highlight. Thanks. That was a good sleepover. The Yana trying to light a cigarette just will live in my brain forever. All right, y'all. Have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. I will be doing live streams to the end of the year. So that means next week on the 23rd and next week, the week after that on December 30th. And then that's it. And if you want to get a hold of me, just jump on the free membership version of my Patreon. So you can, the last Zoom meetup was a free for all as kind of like a holiday gift for my membership. And that one I did a lecture on the costume design from the movie Frankenstein. So if you're interested in that, go check that one out. And I will talk to you soon. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. I try to use my mouse on this screen. Hello. No.